Hello my loves, and welcome back, or welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a pretty personal one. I realized out of all the very personal and vulnerable videos I share on this channel, I've never really dived into this part of my journey, which is kind of surprising because it's a very big part of my journey. Learning to love myself and learning how to have a healthy body image, overcoming eating disorders, really poor self-image, body dysmorphia, and depression, many things that I struggled with as a teenager. So I'm just gonna dive right into the story. Around grade 5, so I was still pretty young, I became obsessed with fashion magazines, and I decided I wanted to be a model because from a young age I received a lot of attention for how I looked. So I started basing my worth and my value around that. As many of you know, we have an obsession with the external, with money, beauty, power, external success in our society. So I was very affected by it. I started modeling when I was about 13. And I was just living in small town Canada, so it's not like I was in a big city for this, but I was obsessed with one day moving to America and becoming a model. And this is what I based all of my worth around, was how much attention I could get basically for my looks, how successful I could be in that industry, how skinny I could be, because that was a big thing. Naturally, I am smaller, I'm not overweight, but I was going to a really unhealthy weight at the time. And I was also bulimic during the time that I was modeling. This happened because my mental state was not balanced at the time. I put so much pressure on myself, and the girls that I hung out with at that time, it was completely normal to have an eating disorder and to even talk openly about it. Our conversations and dialogue that was happening then was really based around how skinny we could be, how much we hate different parts of our bodies. Like, this was a normal thing to discuss all the time for my friends in the modeling industry, and even just the girls at my high school. And it wasn't a secret that I was bulimic. My friends were bulimic, and it was just a normal thing. Like, even going to the washroom after we've eaten at a restaurant, we knew what one another were doing in there, which is quite disturbing when I look back at it now. Around that time in my life, I was also struggling with depression. I was drinking alcohol from the age of 15, literally almost every day, at least 5 days a week, and I was just very unhappy. The turning point for me was when I felt I almost lost my life due to this. So before a photo shoot, I used to starve myself for days, and I'd also have diuretics. I think that's how you say it. I've never said that word before, but I had pills that basically made you use the washroom so that I would be really tiny for my shoot. As you can imagine, this is really not good on your system, on your body at all. One night before a photo shoot, I was so nervous about the shoot. I was stressing all week. I didn't eat for 3 or 4 days. I also drank alcohol. And then I had these pills before I went to sleep. And I woke up around 3 in the morning thinking I was dying. The most severe stomach pains I've ever had in my life. And I actually couldn't even move. I literally crawled to the washroom, like on my forearms, like crawling to the washroom. And I laid on the washroom floor for about 4 hours thinking that I was dying, and I was trying to call out for my mom, but I was in so much pain that I couldn't even really scream. I was just grasping myself, and the whole time I was on the washroom floor, I kept thinking, it wasn't worth it, it wasn't worth it, it wasn't worth it, it wasn't worth it, it wasn't worth losing my life to be skinny. How crazy is that? And up to that point, I never realized what I was doing to my body, to my life, all to just be a part of this industry that didn't even make me feel good when I was in it. When you see models or people that are physically attractive according to society's standards, you think, wow, they're so beautiful, they must be so happy. And that's not the case. I didn't really meet anyone that felt good about themselves in the industry at that time. Maybe it's different now, but it was just a lot of self-hatred, because when your value is completely put on the external, and it's not just in the modeling industry, but really in society, we have so much value put on that it's this never-ending goal to get to this state of perfection of what we think is perfect from looking at these airbrushed people online or in magazines, and you're never going to reach that goal. So really, it always starts within. So after that night, I quit modeling completely. And I realized I need to spend time with myself to heal what's in me and to feel good about myself. Because I don't want to go through life hating myself and being at war with my temple, with my body. Back then I didn't call it a temple. I didn't realize that concept. I wish we were taught that in school, but we're not. This is a part of releasing the conditioning that we have and coming back to our true selves. So I quit modeling, and then I went really into health and fitness, and I was vegan since I was 15. So I went into vegan nutrition, and I always wanted to help people. I knew that whatever my career in this lifetime would be, it would be helping others. So I got my personal training license. This is when I was around 18, 19. Got my personal training license, took a nutrition course, and decided that's what I was going to do with my life. And I started coaching people one-on-one, and I loved it. I started competing in fitness competitions. I only did 2, but that was 2 years of my life of being on these super, super strict diets that made me miserable. And at the end, I realized I started making friends in the industry there as well. Before my second competition, one friend that I had made, he was a man, like a big man. For the few days leading up to being on stage, he would dehydrate himself. So he'd go in saunas for like a very unhealthy amount of time. And then he told me that he'd drink a Mickey, a small bottle of vodka, the night before, so that he looks ripped on stage. And that's when it really occurred to me that, oh, this industry isn't actually promoting health and fitness. We're just trying to look a certain way. And again, it's all based on the external. So then I ended up quitting that. And that's when I went more focused internally. That's when I moved to Asia, and I started studying different spiritual paths. And the practices that I started doing, I didn't read about them. I didn't really find many resources at that time about loving yourself, like really loving yourself. So I sat in meditation. I knew how to meditate, and I just asked for guidance from spirit, from any higher source, my higher self. How can I heal these parts of me that feel like I'm inadequate, that feel like I'm unworthy, that feel like my body isn't attractive, and all of these insecurities and really the sickness inside of me that makes me feel I'm not enough and that I have to look a certain way, and I don't want to spend my life, I was praying, I don't want to spend my life feeling this way. There were times in my teenage years I actually remember looking in the mirror and wanting to scratch my face because I was so unhappy with the way that I looked. And I didn't want to spend my life like that. So a lot of meditation, and what came to me was to stand in front of the mirror naked until I fall in love with myself. It took a while. I made eye contact with myself. I placed my hand on my heart and my womb. And I would do this for 20 minutes a day. And what I was doing during that time was just having no expectations, but also looking at myself, contemplating how I would feel looking my body up and down if I had been born into this world with no societal expectations or conditioning of what my body's supposed to look like. This takes time to get there, but eventually I had this awakening to my inner wild woman. Our bodies are wild and natural, and this beautiful, raw radiance comes from within. And that took me time to get there. And once I came to that realization and truly fell in love with my body, I've never gone back. There was times for a few years where that old conditioning came back, but now at this point in my life, I don't say anything bad about my body. Never. Like, I'm very strict with myself about that. If an insecurity comes up, it's gone. No, I love my body. Our bodies are literally the most miraculous, complex, profound systems, if you want to call it that, on this planet. We are living, breathing miracles. The body deserves our love. This is our temple. We are divine. We are all of the same divine source, and our bodies are temples to this divinity. They deserve love, affection, care. They deserve praise, and they deserve to be celebrated. Now, when it comes to releasing body dysmorphia, eating disorders, I was bulimic because I had, hello plant. I was bulimic because I had crazy cravings for years, and I was an emotional eater. So anorexia was not an option for me because I would go on these crazy binge eating, and then I would make myself sick after. And the way that I stopped this, naturally when we love ourselves, we stop choosing things like this. So by doing self-love practices and self-empowerment practices, that naturally helps us come back to a space of care for our bodies where we don't want to. Same with alcohol. I quit without even really thinking about it. It just didn't feel good for my body anymore. When I realized this temple is divine and deserves my respect and care, a lot of things naturally just went away. A big part of it was releasing shame. So I love chocolate. I have to have something chocolate every day. And this is where Tantra has come into practice as well with my eating. I used to put so much pressure on myself to never eat these things, to never do these things, like no. And if I do, I'd make myself sick. Osho says that when we do anything with full awareness, it's meditation, it's a ritual. So now I have one piece of chocolate or maybe two a day, and I eat that chocolate with complete awareness. Sometimes it's cacao, a hot cacao drink, and I have that, I smell it, I really sit with it, I put my intention into it, I rub it against my lips, I lick it, and I really fully enjoy it and bring my full awareness into that chocolate. And I allow it to be a celebration. No shame after, no, oh, I have to work out extra, I shouldn't have done that. I allow myself to celebrate it. And that made all the difference for me, because that cycle of unhealthy eating was run on shame and guilt. So I would binge and then I would hate myself for it. And then it would just be this cycle. So really the foundation of everything, of healing anything on a physical level, emotional, spiritual, I really feel the foundation is self-discovery, knowing yourself, sitting with yourself, knowing what truly makes your spirit come alive and feel joy. And that is the foundation to a joyful life, to a pleasurable life. Another thing I did when I moved to Asia was I took 2 years completely off social media and media, because I needed to decondition myself from years and years, and a lot of it was also me buying magazines, looking online at these models, putting all this pressure on myself. So I took the 2 years. Maybe not everyone's able to do this. I only had email and text on my phone. That was it, and it was so healing for me. And still, it's said that we have thousands of images and advertisements running through our brain every day, the stimulation, especially, of course, if you live in a city. It's everywhere. Billboards, you're driving, social media, notifications on your phone. It's good to even just take 1 day a week intentionally to be with yourself and to not have those messages coming in. Journaling, paying attention to the stories that you're playing in your subconscious. I feel that it's our responsibility, if you're watching this right now, to rewrite those stories so generations to come can grow up loving themselves. That they don't have to take diet pills and feel this pressure and go through all of this confusion. I know that if I had people leading the way for me when I was younger, promoting self-love and empowerment, that's why I do what I do. I'm always thinking, if there's a younger girl watching this, or what would I say to myself in my teen years. You deserve to love yourself, to celebrate yourself, not get in this comparison trap and this always chasing something that you're never going to get. Like, just accept that right now. You're never going to reach this perfect body, this perfect way that you look. There's always going to be someone prettier externally than you. There's always going to be someone with something more. So stop yourself from the torture now and love yourself. If you have any questions on my healing process with my eating disorder, I've basically just touched on the main points in this video. Comment below, I'll help as much as I can. Maybe others watching this will also have advice, maybe they've gone through similar things, or maybe they're in it right now. I'm here to support you as much as I can, and this is a very supportive community. During my healing days, I was staying at ashrams and I had a very healthy community around me. So even online, having a support system is super important. I really, really wish for you, anyone who's watching this, to fall deeply and madly in love with yourself. It all starts from there, and you are worth it. Know that you're worth it. I love you guys. Thank you for watching this whole video if you made it to the end. If you like it, hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you for another video next week.